Hi, my name is Moshe Kindler, and I'm the publisher of The Jewish Link.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Kratz. I'm editor of The Jewish Link.
And you're on the Jewish Link Pitch Meeting podcast. I'm here today with a very, very special guest, someone I've actually known almost since I moved to the community of Teaneck, someone I always looked up to, actually, and someone who, when I started the paper, was a leader in the community, still is a leader in the community. I think you were deputy mayor or a council member when we started the paper in 2013. If I'm not
2013, I was a councilman.
Okay. Well, I didn't get introduced to you yet. I'm here with someone whose family we love, and his name is Yitz Stern. Yitz is here today with us in the studio, actually on Lag Bomer Day, which we're looking. I see you didn't get your haircut yet. I guess not. I'm not sure. Yeah. And he's running for Assembly. Okay, he's running in the 37th district, which is Teaneck and Englewood, not Bergenfield. Okay, and he's running on a nice slate. And Yitz, welcome to the Jewish Link Pitch Meeting podcast.
Thank you, Moshe. Thank you very much.
And I just have to share the story at the beginning. I always use you as an example of politics. Okay, and you're not gonna love this example, but when I tell friends how important it is to vote, I talk about your last election, your last municipal election, okay? And I remember you or someone telling me that you lost by less than 100 votes.
55 votes.
55 votes.
Correct.
And when we just tally the numbers of people who said, I remember you telling me this, who said they voted in your shul, but didn't actually vote.
Correct.
You would have won. You would have won. And I use that example of just how it's not about hundreds or thousands. It's really just
a couple of votes makes a big difference. Every single vote makes a big difference.
100%. That story always bothered me because I know it's true. I know people told you they voted. They probably didn't vote. They may have had good intentions. I say it also because it also shows how powerful the community is. It's just another 50 to 100 people who just show up and vote. Okay, we can really do a lot, and I'm just so that's it. So Yitz, I know you. Tell us a little bit about you, and again, where you are, and Yitz has done so many things. So tell us a little about Yitz Stern.
I'll talk a little bit about my background. I mean, today's Lag Bomer, like you said. Today is my 45th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Which is the 45th anniversary of my moving to Teaneck.
Wow.
I've lived here for 45 years.
And by the way, before off the air, you said I've been doing this for 35 years. So
yes, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. But I've been living here for 45 years. I started out right around the corner here in the apartments. Ultimately bought our home and raised our 4 children and some of our grandchildren here as well.
Most of your adult life has been here.
Yeah, I don't want to consider myself an adult sometimes, but some people don't call
me
an
adult. I hear that.
But for the past 35 years, I've been involved in the political realm. In 1990, I was appointed to the Board of Adjustment in Teaneck, where I spent 8 years. And for the past 27 years, I've been on the planning board, including 3 terms, 12 years on the council, 2 years as deputy mayor. I think I did 4 years on the environmental commission, all within those last 27 years. I spent a term on a county board, the Municipal Open Space Trust Fund Committee, which helps the county allocate municipal open space money to various towns throughout the county for open space preservation and rehabilitation. And at the state level, I have the privilege currently of serving as a commissioner appointed by the governor on the New Jersey State Commission on Holocaust Education, which Jersey is a leader in Jersey in the Holocaust education, one of the first to mandate it in K-12 schools. And I also spent 2 terms on the New Jersey Israel Commission, which is the commission created by the state of New Jersey to foster trade, educational and cultural exchange between New Jersey and the state of Israel. So I have a fair amount of political experience.
Not bad. Summarize about 35 years in 2.5 minutes. So that's not bad. But can I just say, sure. I have you have other cooler jobs, which I think are just cool. I know you're involved in the Teaneck Bergenfield Eruv. Okay.
I am. I try to help the committee get the word out about the Eruv being up every Shabbos.
And its expansion over the last few years as well.
Expansion, correct. And the community has grown, and the Eruv has grown as well. I was involved in the founding of a local community bank called Cross River.
Not so local, but
yes, but it's our first branch is in Teaneck, and I was involved. I'm one of the original organizers of that bank and a charter signer and an original board member. I no longer serve on the board, but I was part of that original group as well, which was a very successful operation. Is a very successful operation. I also spent the last almost 20 years. This fall will be 20 years as an adjunct professor at Fairleigh Dickinson University of Business, where I helped the university start their yeshiva program, yeshiva seminary program.
I did not know that. You were involved in the yeshiva program?
Yes. So
hold on. See, the FD yeshiva program is Yitz Stern behind that. I did not know that. Okay.
So in 2005, the several leaders in the community, several yeshiva leaders in the community in the general area, Teaneck and in the general area, approached Fairleigh Dickinson about starting a yeshiva completion program for boys coming back from their gap year or two in Israel who wanted to go on to get their college degrees, and they wanted to be able to use their credits, yeshiva time as credit towards their degrees. And then President Adams at Fairleigh Dickinson University approached me. I was on the council at the time, and he asked me if I would be willing to get involved in this. And yes, I said, yes, I would. And we worked on it. We got it off the ground. And when it got off the ground before the first semester started, he approached me and says, Yitz, would you like to teach in the program? I said, teach at the college level? I don't know. I'm not really sure. He says, you can do it. And lo and behold, in the fall of 2005, I taught my first course as business communication, and I've been teaching ever since.
Not like algebra or statistics.
No. It's all business-related stuff, law, ethics, and stuff like that.
And also, hold on, I don't know if you mentioned it, but you're also, I thought you had a really cool job. You were with the Bergen County, the fire.
Yeah. So for the past 25 years,
I thought that was one of the coolest things you.
Right.
You would.
So in the fall of 2000, I started as one of the. As a member of the administration of the Bergen County Police and Fire Academy, where I was responsible for the fiscal, for the budget side of stuff. And that my office, I'm still up there in Mawa at the Police and Fire Academy, now in the 911 Center. And for the past 10 years now, I've been the chief fiscal officer of Bergen County's Department of Public Safety, which involves anything public safety related in Bergen County other than the sheriff and the prosecutor's office.
Okay. To me, the image of you like overseeing, I forgot that your term was fiscal. You overseeing our Bergen County firefighters, like the vision of you like jumping into burning buildings
There was one picture of me trying that, but that was many years ago, and not nowadays. Yeah, no more.
All right, let's get to the primary. I think you were a little bit late to the race, but you announced, I think, in early January. We have a June 10th primary. Tell me what the issues are. Certainly, and always, our lens. There's us as residents, citizens. There's also us as the Jewish community. So tell us what the issues are. Why you agreed. And I want to hear also about you and your running mate as well.
Sure. So I'd been considering running for the assembly way before January, probably late last summer. I was toying with the idea, what happened later in the year is that I was approached by members of the community who had some concerns about the IRA definition. The IRA definition of anti-Semitism is something that we're trying to get passed in the state as a law now. It's been passed and adopted by, I believe it's 35 states now, if I'm not mistaken, 30 some odd countries and many, many different municipalities and counties throughout the country.
And just to sum up briefly, by the way, just because IRA is something we've written about, but basically the IRA definition base says that some forms of anti-Israel criticism can be seen as anti-Semitism. So that's really.
Let's make no bones about it. the anti-Zionism that we've been seeing since October 7th, I mean, for a long time, but particularly since October 7th, the anti-Zionism is just another form of anti-Semitism. There's no question about it.
Yep.
So, what we want to try to do is get this definition passed. Interestingly enough, in the Assembly, there are currently 56, I believe, sponsors or co-sponsors out of 80 Assembly people of the bill. So that would tell you that a majority of the Assembly would support it. I suspect that those that maybe are not co-sponsors, some of them would vote for it as well. But the bill does not get called to a vote until the Assembly leadership is ready to call it to a vote, and until the governor, is ready to call it for a vote. So there's a lot of inside baseball in Trenton, and I can't comment as to why it has not yet been called for a vote, but the current Assembly members in District 37, one of them is not a co-sponsor, one of them is a co-sponsor, but I'm not sure when they became a co-sponsor. It might have been more recently, possibly even after I announced. I'm not 100% sure.
I actually visited. When I wrote about it, actually, I visited the Assembly. I visited St. Trenton, and we actually got the full insider baseball, and I was really saddened by it. Okay,
Right.
and actually, the fact that having some more Assembly leadership, on our team, on our side, that was basically the message. Was if you just would send more ball players. Okay, if we're going to keep with the baseball analogy, which is not perfect,
Right.
but I'm not going to mention any names, but one Assembly leader basically said that he's being stymied by one deputy or minority, and if we would just be a little bit stronger and a better representation, that's actually what he told us, this bill would pass. So on that basis alone, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you.
And I will tell you, from a law enforcement perspective, if you think about it, a police officer, a law enforcement professional, knows what burglary means, knows what speeding means, knows what because they have a definition.
Yep.
If they want to charge someone with violating a law against anti-Semitism or it needs to be defined. It needs to be placed. It needs to be defined. It's not defined. So there's different ways to interpret it. And I think if we have some concrete guideline as to what it really means, it'll be a lot easier for everybody to be able to, and mind you, anti-Semitism, left unchecked, leads to a lot of other isms that potentially show up and that are around as well. So it's something that really needs to. It's a simple procedure. It's not terribly complicated, and my priority, along with my running mates, Rosemary Carroll's top priority is to get that bill passed, among other things as well, among other issues. But that is a top priority.
Tell us about the other issues. I think you and I. It's clear.
Yeah.
You know where we are. I know.
Yeah.
I know where you are on
Right.
the IHRA.
So the other issue is, particularly for the private school community, is the issue of tuition tax credits. And there's the Teach NJ and other organizations have been pushing very, very hard. They've been successful in other states, but have been pushing very, very hard to get tuition tax credits passed. And what I've learned is that one of the basic misconceptions is that this type of a bill will hurt the public schools or will take money away from the public schools. Nothing could be further from the truth. I and my running mate and so many others in the community are very strong believers in having a very strong public school system. It's one of the basic tenets of American society. We pay taxes. Our children are entitled to go to public schools and receive the education that they provide. And that has nothing to do with private school funding.
Correct.
The proposal that's been put forth, and I'm not going to go into the details, but is something that does not affect public schools. Rosemary and I are proponents of continuing to fully fund the public school systems. We're not looking to cut money from but those children who need to, for whatever reason, go to a private school environment, whether it be for religious reasons, whether it be for special education reasons, whatever reason it is, they should be entitled to have the state help fund that stuff, not the religious part of the education, the secular part of the education, the STEM part of the education, the security part of the education for the schools, the special ed part of the education. That's very, very important. So that is another priority of ours that we will hopefully be able to take up when we get to the assembly.
Is there a state we're modeling on? Are we looking to like Pennsylvania? Are we looking to Florida? Do you know?
I mean, the model in Florida,
Ohio,
the model in Florida works well. I don't know all of the details. But the model that Teach has set up in a number of states, which has been successful, has worked very, very well. And from what I understand, there's really no reason, other than maybe political reasons, for it not to happen in the state of New Jersey. It's really a no-brainer, I think.
It's funny. You're a little bit ahead of me in life, but I'm almost at my last tuition. But I see this is not going to benefit me at all,
Right.
And it's really not going to benefit you.
That's correct.
But hopefully, will benefit our children and grandchildren.
Very, very important. I mean, it's really paying private school tuition is very, very expensive. It's after-tax dollars, so it's even tougher. It's not tax deductible, so it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a very, very big problem, and anti-Semitism has increased the cost of security in our schools. It's anti-Semitism. That's an anti-Semitism tax, so to speak. And
I haven't heard that term, anti-Semitism tax, but it's definitely true.
The increased costs for private schools and houses of worship for security is an anti-Semitism tax. There's no other. Think about it.
Yeah,
it's because we have to protect our constituents, our worshipers, our students, our parents.
No, for sure. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's other issues that are important. I mean, the issue of public safety in general,
which is an issue you're close to.
Yeah, that's correct. The issue of public safety in general, the issue of infrastructure in general. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot. But what I told Rosemary and I decided that we weren't going to create a list of 20 issues and try to tackle 20 issues at a time, because then we're not going to get anything done. We're going to try to tackle a couple of issues at a time, and once we're successful with a couple of issues, we go on to the next priorities, and so on and so forth. I think that's a valid and legitimate approach to the way things want to get done.
All right, tell us a little bit more about Rosemary. Just tell about her background.
Sure. So when I did decide to run, I spoke to my team, and I said, "Look, District 37 is a large district, comprises of 10 municipalities, 220,000, I believe, residents, and I'd like to find the assembly race is two seats, and I'd like to find somebody to run with who represents another constituency, maybe that's not yet or underrepresented." So we took a look at the numbers, and I saw that the Latino community in District 37 comprises probably 25% of the population. I mean, large.
I didn't know that.
You just think about Hackensack and Englewood and Pagoda and even Teaneck and other parts. Okay, it represents a substantial part of the population. I do not believe there's been any Latino representation at the state level in District 37 to date. We have Senator Gordon Johnson, African-American senator from Englewood, who represents us in the district. And I said, well, maybe we should try to find someone. So the team reached out to Latino leadership throughout the district, and they suggested that we meet with Rosemary. She's an energetic, young mom, realtor, born and raised in Hackensack. Her parents are Dominican immigrants. The typical immigrant success story. Came over here decades ago, opened another bodega, and was successful as a small business. Small business is another important issue to us. And she's been active in her community in terms of helping people. her three children. She has three boys. Her oldest son went to private school for high school in Hackensack, Catholic school, private school. I think it was Catholic school, and she understands some of the issues that private school parents face. She's a product of the Hackensack Public Schools, and we sat down and talked, and we gelled on a couple important issues. She was very gung ho and on board in terms of the IRA and the private school stuff. She's a realtor. She comes face to face every single day with the issue of housing affordability, with the especially now with higher interest rates.
Yep.
She's very sensitive to that, and the importance of when developing a community, i.e., Teaneck, Hackensack, and any community, that the proper set asides be made for affordable housing, which Teaneck has done a very good job at, and Hackensack has done a fair job at. And so that's an important issue that we came together on pretty quickly as well, not necessarily a Jewish issue, so to speak.
Yep.
And public safety. Her husband has spent time as a police officer, and he works as the rec director in Hackensack now. And the importance of education and raising children, and the Latino culture, the Hispanic culture, has a lot of similarities to the Jewish culture in terms of the importance of family values, religion, religious beliefs, core family values, being together, raising our, so on and so forth. Not to say that other ethnicities don't, but Hispanics and the Jewish community, that is an important issue. And she agreed to run with me, and she is currently energizing her community to get out and vote.
I didn't realize the Latino community was actually with 2020. It was 25%.
I'm not sure the exact number, somewhere in that area.
And I know certainly the Jewish community is a big number here. I think from what I was hearing from the strategists and the minds behind they were saying that our vote, meaning because it's a primary, the expectation, even if it's a contested primary,
Correct.
The expectation is let's say you said about 200,000 votes, but only about
200,000 residents. There's probably about 80,000 registered voters. Primary has typically a very low turnout, very, very low, 15% maybe.
Right.
Maybe a little higher this time because there's a gubernatorial primary. So when a general election, when you have a turnout of 60%, 50, 60%, so that means that every single primary vote is worth 3 times as much.
Correct.
You think about the percentages.
Yep.
Could potentially be worth 3 times as much. So the importance of every single vote getting out there and educating themselves on the issues, and especially in terms of IRA, where so some gubernatorial candidates are very much in favor of it, and some gubernatorial candidates are
not
less favorable of it, or not in favor of it. I think that's very important that the electorate educate themselves on the issues, not only the Jewish electorate, but the entire electorate.
Yeah.
And so that I think that's very, very important.
It's so interesting to me. I just feel like our community is so exercised, since October 7th, by what we're seeing on our campuses, and maybe it's been a little bit dulled. There have been, there for example, like they stormed Columbia like a week or so ago. But we haven't seen, I feel like locally, we haven't seen a little bit as much of it. But I still feel that we're exercised. I hope we're going to, the community's going to come out.
I hope so. And I've spoken, since October 7th to a number of college students, both around here as well as in the city. And I'm not talking at the Jewish institutions. I'm talking about places like Columbia and Hunter and other large institutions. They're scared. They're worried. And it's tough. You have a 20-year-old kid who wants to make something of themselves and is pursuing their education, and they want to focus on their studies and become whatever they want to become. And they have to look over their shoulder all the time. Who's in class, who's following me around, who's screaming at me, when I'm walking across the the lawn and so on and so forth. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a problem in the state of New Jersey as well. In the public college, Rutgers, big issue. It's a big problem. It's a big problem.
Do you want to say anything specifically about the incumbents, the Hader, the who are trying to actually, you're trying to replace?
Yeah, I mean, look, the only thing I hear about the incumbents, I have not heard that the people that I speak to in the larger towns in the district. Look, Rosemary comes from Hackensack, the largest, I believe, town in the district.
Yep.
And I come from Teaneck, the second largest town, I think, maybe in the district.
That's right.
And Assemblywoman Hader comes from Tenafly, a middle-sized town in the district, and Assemblywoman Park comes from Englewood Cliffs, which is one of the smallest towns in the district. I believe that many people have told me, and I see this myself. I haven't seen them around. I just don't hear from them. We hear from them before elections, but I haven't heard from them especially on the issues that are important to me. And I hear the same thing from people throughout the district. Most people don't even know who their assembly people are.
Yes,
there's
true.
a lot of people don't even know what assembly person is.
Yeah.
But Rose and I, when we get to the assembly, hopefully, we want to represent the entire district. We want to be there. That's part of the job, and it's important. And look, it's a community-based campaign. We've spoken to people in every single town in the district.
I know you've been doing events in a bunch of towns.
Yes, correct. We've done events, and there'll be more events, and it's just important. And I just really, I need to encourage your listeners and
readers
and your readers to educate yourself on the issues and see where the candidates stand on the issues and who they're affiliated with on the issues and so on and so forth. And
you mentioned that your slate's not. Or I'm going to mention. I know that your slate's not. You're not supported by anyone.
We are not affiliated with any gubernatorial candidate. We are not supported by any political organization, county political organization or anything like that, any state political organization or anything like that. This is strictly a community-based effort. And, we're grateful for the support of the people. I cannot overemphasize again how important it is to get out and vote.
Yeah.
It's so easy to vote nowadays. You can vote by mail. I vote by mail. I'm on autopilot now, vote by mail.
Yeah.
I get my ballot in the mail. I voted. And I get my ballot in the mail weeks before the election, sit down at the kitchen table. You don't have to put a stamp on it anymore. You used to have to.
Yep.
And just put it in the ballot box at the municipal building or drop it into any mailbox. It's the easiest way to vote. There's early voting now in the state of New Jersey, which will start on June 3rd. For those observing Shavuos, it will start on Wednesday, the day after Shavuos, through Sunday, right here in the Rota Center. The Rota Center is a county-wide voting facility where any registered voter from the county can come vote, unless you have a vote by mail, unless you're registered to vote by mail. It's a great way to vote. You have a whole day on Wednesday, on Tuesday, second day Shavuos, for those who don't observe Shavuos, and on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for those who don't observe, and Sunday. And Monday there is no voting, and Tuesday is regular election day on June 10th. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. at your regular polling station, whatever school, wherever you vote typically. It's really important to get out and vote. There won't be any lines. It's a very low turnout election. It'll take you 5 minutes. You'll be in and out before you know it. So please get out and vote. I encourage everybody to educate themselves on the issues, and hopefully you'll find that Rose and I have earned your vote.
100%. I just want to share one thing. The one thing within the community is you have a lot of friends in the community. Unfortunately, many of them are Republican. Okay, and what I found is that for anyone who switched, not I know there was a campaign to try to get them to switch back to the Democratic Party to be able to vote for you. Right. Between you and me, I'm not sure how many people did so. I hope many did.
Switched?
Yeah, switched.
Several hundred.
The answer is that's great, but I'm just saying. It's amazing, by the way, that several hundred were switchers. Right. And I'm just saying, I know that there are people who are, they're hoping to vote for you in the general. So they may have missed you in the primary.
Correct.
It doesn't take away anything. It doesn't take anything you just said at all.
100%. I look forward to their support in the general. And look, it's important to remember something else, and you know this, Moshe. Elected officials, politicians, elected officials in particular, pay attention to who votes. We know down to almost several square block area who voted. Okay, we don't know how they voted, but we know which people are engaged and care enough to make the effort to vote. And elected officials pay attention to those groups.
Yeah.
They can see which neighborhoods in which towns cared enough to get out and vote, and they pay attention to that. So again, just in general, if you want your voice to be heard, if you want the issues that are important to you, if you want to be able to go to the voting booth.
Yeah.
Cast your vote. It's so important.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, Yitz, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a real pleasure. And
looking forward to the election. Looking forward to your success. Looking forward to our community's
success. Yes, thank you
growth.
very much. And that the other thing I would ask is that when I become an assembly person, hopefully,
I'm not giving you a weekly column. So.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Okay.
So that the community continue to engage your elected officials. Let them know what's on your minds. Tell them what you're worried about, what your concerns are. Send an email. That's what we're there for.
I think an effect of October 7th is it's a lot of people like those were scared. They definitely see more of that. I don't want it to continue, but I want the engagement to continue. So I'm with you.
Stay engaged, and politicians are like engaged constituents, and that's the only way to really keep them focused, is to keep them engaged.
100%. Hatzlacha to you.
Thank you so much, Moshe. I appreciate your being here and the invitation, and continue to do the good work you do in the community in the Jewish Link.
Thanks for being with us on the Jewish Link Pitch Meeting podcast. If you would like to participate or be in touch with us in any way, please email us at editor@jewishlink.news and follow us and find our podcast wherever you find podcasts.